Olivia Plant is one of Australia's most popular TikTok users. The American-born Queenslander spends hours on the app every day, sharing lip-syncing videos. With her 1.4 million followers.
Basically, you make any videos you want. You can post comedy videos, relatable videos, like anything, and it might do well, might not, you never really know with TikTok.
Olivia's love of TikTok is shared by 500 million users around the world, most of them teenagers just like her. The app's popularity is exploding, with more downloads in the past year than Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. But TikTok is notable for another reason too. It's the first Chinese-owned social media app to crack the Western world.
TikTok is something that's completely new to users in countries like Australia, and that's because it comes from China. And because that is an illiberal country, we have to think about it in a radically different way.
Fergus Ryan is a cyber analyst who's investigating TikTok and its potential ties to the Chinese Communist Party.
Most people are used to thinking about their privacy issues as they relate to mainly US-based apps like Facebook, Twitter, but they haven't really considered how an app that comes from China is different. The Chinese Communist Party, the authorities there, if they want access to data and it's being held in a Chinese company, they can get it.
One of the main concerns with TikTok is the startling amount of personal information it collects about users. Like most social media apps, it demands access to your phone's camera and microphone, your contact list, and your location using GPS tracking. This kind of data can paint a vivid picture of a person's life.
So, for example, you might have someone who uses this app or apps like it, who works in a sensitive area in the Australian government. That would be very vital information for the Chinese Communist Party to gather up.
I tend to look at some of these applications as expeditionary or offshore surveillance.
Andrew Hastie chairs Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee. He's been banned from visiting China for criticising the government. Now, he's warning TikTok could be used by Beijing to monitor and spy on Australians. TikTok is mostly used by teenagers at this stage. Why does it matter if Beijing has access to their data?
There are future leaders. There are future political, economic, cultural and military leaders, and we need to protect their information long term. I certainly don't want my children's data going to a foreign country who might use it for nefarious purposes.
So just happen, think of what we've done, the time that the earth has travelled around the sun.
Carrie Hobday allowed her 14-year-old daughter Ellen to sign up to TikTok last year.
Definitely social media is a huge concern.
Okay, what do you need help with?
The Sydney mum has also downloaded the app to better understand how it works.
Well, I've tried to do a TikTok video.
But her main concern is who's viewing Ellen's videos, not who owns TikTok or what it does with her daughter's data.
I can't say cheese, I'm vegan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Lettuce.
It is a concern for me that any of that information would be in anyone's hands, to be honest with you, but I didn't know that TikTok was a Chinese company, so I guess I hadn't had those thoughts before until I found that out.
Parents, if you don't know what TikTok is, you should.
In the US, the government is so alarmed by TikTok's ties to China, it's launched a national security investigation.
A company compromised by the Chinese Communist Party knows where your children are, knows what they look like, what their voices sound like.
This is another example of how China is aggregating information. The more data it has on individuals, what they do, why they do it, who they are, the more it can create artificial intelligence based on that data.
It might explain why the Australian Defence Force recently joined the US military in barring TikTok from all work devices.
I support it 100%, and I would go so far as to say not just work phones or devices, but also personal devices. Espionage can be conducted on social media platforms. We have to be far more cautious about all these tech platforms.
Today's a massive day for thousands of VCE students right across Victoria.
But not all Australian politicians share the same concerns. Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews is a regular user of TikTok, posting videos of his work and private life. We asked him whether he was worried about his data ending up in the wrong hands. But his office told 730 telecommunications security is rightly a matter for the federal government and its agencies. We have no concerns.
The Premier of Victoria is free to do whatever he wants, but certainly I think when the United States and our own government, the federal government's taken a decision as it has, people should listen.
But you wouldn't put TikTok on your phone?
I would not, no.
Another emerging concern with TikTok is censorship, with users claiming the app deletes or restricts videos Beijing doesn't like.
Topics that Beijing deems sensitive, like the 3 Ts, Tiananmen, Taiwan and Tibet, are the kind of topics that Beijing doesn't want discussed freely on any platform.
TikTok denies it's influenced by the Chinese government and claims it's never been asked to remove content or hand over data, and wouldn't do so even if the president of China, Xi Jinping, ordered it himself. TikTok told 730 user data is stored in Singapore and the US, not China. But Fergus Ryan says that's misleading.
ByteDance, the company that operates TikTok, doesn't have an engineering core that works outside of Beijing. So it's highly likely that that same data is being accessed by Beijing-based engineers in order to improve the app.
Did you film TikTok today?
I posted like 3.
TikTok will be scrutinised later this year by a new federal inquiry, just as the company opens its first Australian office.
Policymakers and regulators really need to start wrapping their heads around what do we do when an app is developed in an illiberal country and then it is aimed at a user base in liberal democracies like Australia.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.